I'm here with this. I found it on the street.
Rude.
Her name is Allison. She's a senior in high school and is taking AP Brit Lit, I think?
Yes, AP British Literature.
Yes, and she knows quite the grape bunch about poetry. Yes, great bunch. So today I'm going to be interviewing Allison on Annabel Lee by Edgar Allan Poe. And I would interview my mom, but she doesn't know anything about poetry. So, first question. What does this poem do? Does it tell a story, describe a person, describe a setting, etc.?
It kind of does all three. It tells about Edgar Allan Poe, or I guess the speaker in this situation, and his relationship with Annabel Lee in Kingdom by the Sea. Talks about Annabel Lee and her beauty.
Where and when is it taking place?
Well, where is the place by the sea, but yes, the Kingdom by the Sea.
As it says many times, Allison.
And when doesn't really specify.
It doesn't really.
It doesn't specify at all, really.
Yeah.
Over the course of some time,
Yeah.
is really all that you have, is like the time that passes.
Who or what seems to be the subjects or subjects of the poem?
Annabel Lee and their relationship.
How does the speaker feel about the subject, and how do you know?
Well, it's like a mix of like overwhelming love and sorrow, because he's talking about this woman that he just loved really dearly, and she was taken from him by what I'm assuming is tuberculosis, because like everybody he ever loved died of that. And so I think like the overall feeling is like a kind of like longing for something that he'd lost, and like this overwhelming love that he has for that woman.
What other questions do you need to ask yourself in order to understand?
Well, there's the big, like, what happened and why is she dead, and how does he feel about it, and what is it trying to say about love?
Okay. After figuring out what the poet is trying to say, the next stage of analysis is to identify how the poet did it. So, how did the poet organize the piece, analyze stanzas, line breaks, grouped ideas, etc.?
The poem. Well, each stanza has what appears to be 6 lines, and
most of them.
Most of them have 6 lines. But there's like, it's kind of like I don't know if there's a name for it or not, but it's like a mixed structure, and there's a strange rhyme scheme.
Free verse, right?
Well, free verse doesn't rhyme, and this does.
Yeah.
And I might be wrong on that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure free verse doesn't rhyme, but this one does. It's ACBD, I believe.
I said AB, ABCB.
Well, it's not AB because a go doesn't rhyme with C.
Yeah, that's AB. Because A is a go and no. And B is C. So AB.
Okay. Yeah. Well, whatever. And, so that's that.
Are there any parts or lines of the poem that stand out or seem different, and why did the poet make this choice?
I think that it's, like, one of the big parts that stood out to me was, like, him basically comparing their love to something heavenly and, like, celestial, because it's, like, he's basically saying that the love that they shared was greater and stronger than even, angels and God and everything like that.
Why did you think the poet made that choice?
Because I think Edgar Allan Poe was weird when he was in love, and I think he really did feel like, whoever he wrote this about, he did love more than, humanly possible, more than the gods could love someone. The gods. The god.
All of them.
So.
What other details do you notice, like capitalization, punctuation, interesting line breaks?
Well, there's a lot of dashes, and he also capitalizes her name one time, which is weird. But, yeah, dashes and capitalization and repetition in the last stanza. There's a lot of that.
Yeah. We're almost Identify uses of figurative language. Why did the poet use that language, and what effect does it create?
Well, there's the, what is it? Like I said, the comparison between, like, the angels and the love.
Yeah.
Like, kind of I think it's a metaphor, because...
It doesn't use like or as.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, otherwise it's, like, and then I guess there's kind of imagery a little bit when he talks about, like, the moon and the kingdom by the sea and clouds and stuff like that. But, and repetition for effect, of course, like I said earlier, in the last stanza, there's a lot of repetition.
Identify uses of imagery. Why did the poet use imagery, and what effect does it create?
Well, it's not super descriptive, but, like, when it talks, like I said, about the angels, the winged seraphs, kind of creates the celestial image, like I said. The wind blew out a loud cloud, chilling, you know, it brings, like, a kind of dark and solemn feel to it, you know, like the impending doom.
Yeah. Analyze the diction or word choice. What feelings and emotions do the words create? What ideas and associations do you make with the words?
Well, of course, he uses love, like, a billion times. And, like, when he says, like, we loved with a love that was more than love, that repetition, the use of the word love so frequently and strongly, it, like, really creates that. I mean, I feel like that's love, man.
That's love, man.
And stuff like that. Selfie. Why? Continue.
Look for sound devices such as alliteration, rhyme, and or internal, repetition, and rhythm. What do you know these?
Okay, well, like, for the third time, repetition in the last stanza, you know, the, of the beautiful Annabel Lee, of Annabel Lee, of my darling, and then and so, and stuff like that. Repetition of the word love really creates the concrete idea that he does love in her, in fact, yes. Yeah.
What effect do the above devices have, and why did the poet use them?
Well, like I said, the repetition of, like, calling her beautiful and the repetition of the word love, like, completely strengthens the feeling of, like, complete and total unconditional and, like, genuine love for that he has for her.
Yeah. Taking into account all that you noticed about the poem, diction, mood, sound, form, etc., what do you think is the overall message or meaning? What is the theme? What is the poet trying to say in that poem?
Well, I think the theme, it's really more of a story than anything, and I think that the theme of it is losing someone that you love and still loving them, and, like, how strong that love can be. And I don't really know exactly what it's trying to say, because I don't see it as, like, a general statement. I see it as, like, specific to the speaker, you know? But, like, in a sense, I think it does appeal to the idea that, like, when we love someone, we love them so much that we feel like, you know, it's unstoppable, and, you know, he loved her with a love that was more than love, but, you know, she was still taken away from him.
Yeah. That's it. Good job. What do you have to say?
Bye.
Bye.